I'd agree with Luke. They've been there and done it, and that's what. The question was about this Arsenal team is, they're young, they're fearless, but they don't have the experience, and that's been the question the whole season. And we've all thrown it at it. You know what? When it gets to the business end, will they know how to do it? That's just because you can't gain experience without going through the experience, and that's what they're going through now. So if they come out this end, you can't throw that, or you can't label Arsenal that. There's they've known how to do it when teams are chasing them down. But City's been it, and if City was 2-0 up, the game would have run away, and that's City. Do you know what I'm saying?
A couple of messages come through. Ha ha ha! Arsenal. We all knew this would be the game. They blow the title. City have got you now. Arsenal, pipe down. You bottled it. Tim, the United fan. I mean, you must know Tim because that's what you sound like.
That's how you talk.
Paul, the Man City fan. A point gain. What? You need to win every game when Pep's machine is coming after you.
Do you know what? It's a great point, and we said it earlier. I think Manchester City more than capable of winning every game they've got left this season. Arsenal, Martin Keown, when I was at the Emirates a few weeks ago, watching Arsenal destroy Crystal Palace, he said to me, West Ham away is going to be a really difficult game. And I mocked him a little bit on White and Jordan. Next Sunday, 2:00 kickoff, West Ham against Arsenal. How do Arsenal react to being 2-0 up at Anfield and not winning the game? Then they got Southampton at home, live on talkSPORT on a Friday night. Then they go to the Etihad, where they haven't won, I think Luke said, for about 8 years. Manchester City, Arsenal. That game is live on talkSPORT. Then they've got Chelsea. Who knows where Chelsea will be by then. Then it's Newcastle away, Brighton at home, and then Forest and Wolves, their final two games. They should win both of those, but there are some really tricky fixtures.
It's the Man City game for me, Crookie. That's the be-all and end. That's what that wins the title for me. I think Arsenal will beat West Ham. I think they'll react well. I think they'll beat Southampton. I think Southampton are struggling. If they beat Manchester City, which is a big if, they'll go on to beat Chelsea and Newcastle.
Newcastle is the start of May.
If they lose to Man City, the confidence drops. They think that's us done. I think they'll start dropping points. But I think if they beat Man City, they'll go on and they'll beat Chelsea, they'll beat Newcastle.
Sam Matterface has been enjoying Bayo's meltdowns throughout the course of the afternoon. He's just told me Manchester City officially bookmakers' favourites. Arsenal were favourites before today. The bookies now have Manchester City as favourites to win the title.
It's in City's hands. Look, you can say it's in Arsenal's hands as well, which it is, but for me,
Arsenal's hands.
I think it's in City's hands.
Why?
Because if they win the game and has 3 points, then they beat Arsenal. It's in both their hands, of course, because if Arsenal beat City, it swings that way as well.
The only way I'd look at it is, you asked the question, every time Arsenal has had a setback, they've answered the questions. They react. So that's mine. And like when they lost to City, everybody was like, it's done. Yep. And then Arsenal hadn't lost the game, or they drew, but they haven't lost. Yep. So again, they ain't lost this game. So I can't remember the last time Arsenal lost. You lot can remember. They haven't lost this game.
It's a point gain.
And they were 2-0 up.
It's a point gain for me.
Still, again, do you know what I mean? Where you've got to look at it, right? And as players, they haven't won at Liverpool since 2013. Is that the quote? 2013.
They still haven't. They've maintained that record.
But what I'm trying to get at, and this is not even a slight at you, even though I like it, but Liverpool beat Man U 7-0 at Anfield. And there's no... Listen, when people just say, oh, yeah, it's Anfield, Carragher said, any other place, if this was at the Emirates, the game's won. The game's won. We know this. But for some reason, Liverpool at Anfield, they are a problem. So when you say they were 2-0 up, yes, you're right. But if Arsenal came back from...
I usually am.
No, you ain't. But if Arsenal came back from being 2-0 down, it would have been a point gained. It's still, at the end of the day, the result is the result. And for me, especially the way the game finished, it's a point gained. That's how I look at it.
Let's bring in Hector, the Arsenal fan. He's called 03717223344. Hector, was that 2 points dropped or a point gained, in your opinion?
100% dropped.
And why do you believe that?
Because you're 2-0 up and you've got to hammer that home. It's as far as I'm concerned, they're dropped. But, and there is a but, and there always is, but for me, Liverpool are a team that know how to beat Arsenal when they've done it. They've done it before. Klopp's done it before. So there's a lack of fear factor there. As much as it's the weaker Liverpool team, they're not the same Liverpool team. This is a Liverpool team that people were lauding as the best team on the planet last year. So And for a few years, they've been lauding them as that. So there's a lack of fear factor, and they're at home. So they've come at us. The crowd's been rolled up. And as far as I'm concerned, that's played a contributing factor.
I think Hector, I know you're saying 2 points dropped. However, for me, after the 28th minute, yes, it's 2 points dropped. But unfortunately, a football is a 90-minute game. And after, what'd you say, 35 minutes, Liverpool dominated the whole game from then till the end. So Liverpool, if you look at it that way, it's a point gained. You should have lost the game.
Liverpool are a top side. What I will say to you is this.
They're not this season, are they?
Look,
they are. Don't listen to him. Continue,
they're still a top side. Just because they don't win, it doesn't mean anything. Real Madrid have been awful, and then they whipped Barcelona the other day. You know, stuff like that happens. Stuff like that happens. What I will say to you is this. Arsenal are 5 years ahead of where they should be. 5 years ahead. And I'll justify that with this. For me as an Arsenal fan, and remember that Arsenal fans are the epitome of pessimists. Yeah, there's an actual movie made about it. About how pessimistic Arsenal fans are. Okay?
Great film.
It is a wonderful film. I'll tell you something. We're 5 years ahead, and I'll justify it by saying this. As a Gooner, last season, with the debacle that it was that not getting into the top four, this season, all I wished for was to get into the top four. Next season, top three. The following season, to get somewhere near that second place. And then after that, it was to challenge. And we're challenging now. Now we're challenging. I mean, it's an anomaly. I mean, if we win this league, and it's still in our hands, I don't believe that business about it's Man City's hands. No, it isn't. If we win all our games, and even if we lose against City, if we win the rest of our games, unless maths has suddenly failed me, yeah, and I've never been great at it, but
if you lose to City and City win them all, they win the league. On goal difference, unless you start winning games 5-6-0.
So it's in both your hands. Hector, thanks very much for the call. I tell you what, it is set up for a fascinating finale to the season. Arsenal fans, a point gained or two dropped. 2-0 up away from home at Anfield. I think 5 years ahead.
It's a point gain. However you want to look at it, and Ambrose hit it on the head. 28 minutes into the game, 35, Arsenal played Liverpool off the park. And you can say if it was City, the game would have been over. But they're not City, and exactly, they're further in their development that they thought they were going to be. But the game's 90 minutes. And if you then take on from 35th minute on to the 96th minute, then it was all Liverpool. So you can beforehand say, oh, you know what, Arsenal top of the table, Liverpool indifferent. But at the end of the day, it's the game. So when you watch the game itself, it's a point. In my opinion, it's a point gained. That's how I look at it.
Tottenham read one thing before the break.
Go on. Tottenham fans are revelling in this, aren't they, Darren?
Message from me, Darren. We're at the bottling stage of the season, and Arsenal bottled that nicely. I doubt they'll recover from throwing away a 2-goal lead at Anfield, where they last got a point 7 years ago. The Howie of Spurs.
Yeah, Tottenham fans revelling in Arsenal's misfortune. We want to hear from Liverpool supporters as well. Adebayo Akinfenwa has just told us off-air that you need to keep Firmino, of course, whose contract expires in the summer. Already been announced he's leaving. Could that be a mistake? 03 717 22 3344.